Welcome to the garden I've designed and built over the past 28 years. The photos at the beginning show what the garden looked like when my wife and our 2 children moved here. I hope you enjoy looking around our garden via this video. This garden has been designed and built by an engineer, someone who likes building structures, but using materials salvaged from the restoration of the house. This is an area that self-seeds year after year: hollyhocks, anchuses, aquiledias, citrarinciums, etc, etc. Each year I set myself a project that changes the garden. This year has been no different. This seated area plus greenhouse was my project from 2020. You will notice many water features in the garden, designed to bring many forms of wildlife into the area. Due to the lockdown, I've also built this shady patio area. The concept of the garden is mine, however the ideas throughout have been provided from visiting many National Garden Scheme gardens, etc. My children, my wife have also given me inspiration. This peony has been handed down in my family since before the Second World War. I believe it is red charm, however I'm not 100% sure. To soften the structures, I've tried to create a very traditional English cottage garden, predominantly by using perennial planting. However, nature is a big winner. Plants growing where they self-seed tell me I prefer this position and condition. Lots of examples around the garden. My allotment, I do grow an assortment of vegetables. Our knot garden. All of the plants were taken as cuttings from the boxes in the front garden. My youngest son out take the cuttings and took some to school, show and tell. The tractor was saved from a shed that burnt down many years ago. It was purchased from George Brown's at Leighton Buzzard back in the 1950s. The wildflowers softened the corroded metal. This was my 60th birthday present to myself. At this time of the year, it is the hub of activity, sowing seeds, planting on, making up hanging baskets, etc. On the left, my homage to stumperies, simple but effective. This was last year's project, which is now developing into an interesting wildlife project. I like to bring fun things into the garden, and the canoe was used by my boys when the field flooded years ago. The decking will be developed and open for next year's open gardens. Watch this space. Our slated river. This idea came from my eldest son and it's been developed year on year. Moving on to the front garden, we have some red hot pokers which are next to our wildlife pond, which brings in loads of amphibians into the garden. My idea was to build gravel paths so my children would run around them and keep them off the borders. It worked. I also added trees to give shade and colour: laburnum, Acer dividii, malus and tamarix. Our wishing well. This is the site of the original well for the property, now a pond. The plough would have been used to plough the garden in preparation for vegetable growing. The boxes were overgrown and I have slowly reshaped them. The tamarisk is always in fantastic colour at this time of the year. Over the next 2 weeks, the garden will be a riot of colour as the perennials come into life. A little bit more fun in the garden. Can you see the face? The two main ponds are very different. One's a wildlife one and one's a goldfish pond. Like Monty Don with Nigel, we have Tim, who thinks he's a dog. Patio at the back door was my first construction and I've extended it 3 times over the years. Our children's handprints are in the mortar. I hope you have enjoyed this virtual tour of my garden. Remember, there are no rigid rules to gardening. You don't need to convert your whole garden overnight. Start with one border and I guarantee you will be delighted with results and want to do more. I hope to see you at Glebe Farm next year.